chaps and chapettes, welcome back to another FIFA 18 Road to Glory episode. I think this is number 8 now. We're getting into weekend 3. We're using a 4-2-3-1. It's a decent team. It's not as good as I would have hoped to have within week 3. Thing is, there's two factors. First of all, I started off playing on 2 accounts at the same time, basically trying to play 80 games, and anytime I've tried to do that, it's gone down the pan. But as you can see here, we get Choupo-Moting in cam position. We've got to try and get those players that are going to be able to compete with the Tryhards, you know, the absolute sweatfest lads that are dishing out. They're dishing out the money. They're sort of flexing on everyone on Foot Champs right now. And we have to have the overpowered players. Although I've seen a lot of people on Twitter recently just say that this year, arguably, there isn't as many overpowered players that can compete with the likes of the players that you're seeing on screen right now. I mean, the thing is that these icons this year are just a world above anything around it. Like, there's no overpowered player. I don't know, like, I've tried all sorts of players, and I just can't get close to someone like Vieira in centre mid. He will do you dirty. He'll harass you for the whole game. And basically, there's just a massive difference in the pay-to-win players, the icons this year, compared to the standard players. Too much of a difference for my liking, especially for an esport. But well, I call it an esport, but it's a bit of a joke. That's what it is, really. But nonetheless, we're into, I think, game. Yeah, we've won 2 out of 2 games. It's a solid start. Coming up against pretty decent teams right from the get-go as well. That's what I've realised, is that there's no holding back. In qualification month, everyone's going for it, you know. Everyone's whipping out their debit cards. And to be fair, I mean, we are in February now. So, to be fair, it's not all pay-to-win teams. There is a lot of players, you know, on their grind, you know, Road to Glories. I can respect that. And, you know, we just started our Road to Glory late at the end of the day. We just started our Road to Glory late. There's lads that have already got sick teams. And we're going in with our, like, I don't even know how much coins this team's worth. Probably like 100k, if that. Nothing. And yeah, like I was saying, like I was playing on my main account. Didn't really get the result I wanted. Lost. I think we got like silver or something like that. And the only reason being is we still had like 20 games left to play. So we're looking for elite here. And yeah, that just ruined it, didn't it? Eric Bailly taking out Suarez. That's not a penalty. That is literally, get a referee in here right now and review that. It's not a penalty. I don't care how much you want to tell me, EA, but that is a penalty. And then we can see basically a stupid go after. He starts passing it around the back. That tells you how confident he is, and tells you that, you know, with his insane team over mine, he admits basically he's got lucky, or he's just a sweaty player, or both. He basically just tries to see it out. Doesn't go so well for him, let's be real. We have a composure there to tuck it away. We make it 2-1. We're back in the game. He's playing a 4-4-2. This lad is just a sweaty. He's so sweaty. He's like shushing me after every goal. It's like, dude, your team, Luis Suarez on his own is like triple my coin value of my whole team. Like, why is he trying to flex on me? Like, I honestly don't know why he's trying to flex on me like that. We switch up the tactics. That's the thing. You really have to constantly be flowing with your tactics. You know, you don't just want to stick with one tactic and then not have no plan B. Basically, you always want to be thinking about how you can change the game. And we do manage to change the game. We get lucky. We deserve the lock. But the problem is we've gone always overlap on the left back and right back. Everyone's super attacking, and we can't change it back. So I've run out of pauses, and we end up giving away the ball. He gets one chance. And, of course, Luis Suarez bangs it. It's, oh, my God. Honestly, my reaction right now, my salty reaction to watching this again, multiply that by, like, 20, and you'll get what my actual reaction was. Still very surprised my controller isn't in pieces, to be honest with you. So, we're going into the 4th game. I think it is. Is it the 4th game, or is it the 5th game? I honestly lose track already. But we're kind of switching around with the tactics. We're not sure of our game. And I think that is ultimately one of the sort of mental hurdles that you have to get over in Foot Champions. And I still struggle with a little bit now, to be honest. Is that, you know, when you lose a game, you lose confidence in your game. You're not as confident in attack. You're not defending properly. I mean, look at this. This is shambolic. Like, if this was on Sky Sports, Jamie Carragher and your boy Gary Neville would be ripping into me right now. What is that? Keepers everywhere. Defender. I've just literally just done a random slide tackle for no apparent reason. It's a hell of a time. It really is a hell of a time. So we're now 1-1. It's all right. It's all right. It's still recoverable at this point. I think we're in extra time now. We do the little turn, get lucky. To be honest, we do get lucky. Not afraid to say it, but at the end of the day, we conceded off our own mistake. But once again, I mean, we're basically like ultra defensive. We're trying to see it out at that point. We're trying to be realistic. And at the end of the day, he just splits us to pieces. And I think it's because I was holding down RB. For some reason, he doesn't save that Edison. But the thing is that when you hold down RB too much, the AI would just say, oh yeah, you know, let's just give him a goal, basically. Because what will happen is someone like Danny Rose on the left, there'll be someone in the middle where Van Dijk, the left centre-back, could easily get to him. And yet the left back will just run across and open up a gap. It's stupid. But nonetheless, we're getting into a different formation. We're switching up the tactics early doors. And to be honest, it's not really necessary at all. It's kind of stupid. But the sort of thoughts and feelings behind this, we go for Eriksen and we're trying to play the sort of Guardiola tactics. So I spoke about this briefly in the previous episode where we did like the Italy team and we did it with a 4-1-4-1, I think. But basically the way this works is the same way that Guardiola works with Man City. The right wing and left wing will occupy the left back and right back on the opposite side. And then basically we've got the two centre mids on the right and left on I think it's get forward, which means they're going to find the half spaces in between the centre-back and the left-back and the centre-back and the right-back, and they're going to score a lot of goals. And as you can see, Gabriel Jesus, who is one of the centre-mids that we're on get forward, gets a goal very early. And then look who gets the other goal, Eriksen, the other centre-mid who's also on get forward. So we're finding what they call the half spaces, you know, done more a vision on Pep Guardiola, you might say. But it doesn't work as well as it should because you can't really do what Guardiola does defensively and stuff like that. There's not enough tactics in the game. It's the kind of stuff that you could only do in Football Manager or maybe even Pro Evolution Soccer. I mean, I hate to say it, but Pro Evo does have certain features that are above FIFA. I'd say FIFA probably overall is the better game. I mean, that's why we're all playing it right now, right? But PES definitely does have some certain features like tactics and stuff which are better. So I think we're now 4 wins, 2 losses. It was a decent win, you know, we're retaining possession, bringing forward the right back and left back quite often. And, I mean, it's working well. It's working really well, to be honest. As you can see there, Rashford, or is it? It might have been Rashford, I'm not even sure. But he gets a goal from the sweaty cutback. Pretty decent plays. We get taken down there. Van Dijk. We're on the aggressive type vibe. And that's the thing, is that when you get that confidence, when you're winning game after game, scoring lots of goals, I think often I can play like defensively very well, but because I play sometimes a bit too negatively, then your mindset isn't right. But because we're scoring so many goals, we've definitely got the right mindset at the moment. Although we've already lost 2 games, we're in a sort of, I don't know, it's a bit of a weird state to be in. And then we come up against another pay-to-win team. I mean, look at that. I hate coming up against Ferdinand. Hate coming up against Omri, Vieira. It's just a chore. It's a chore to come up against because you just got to put in double the effort that they're putting in. They're breezing past you at times. You really have to sweat it out just to compete at the end of the day. We go 1-0 up. We're a bit lucky with our goal, to be honest, but I think we deserved it. It should have gone in the first place. Gets a goal back. Del Piero, OP. He's so good. This is how you know that the game is like major pay to win. I put him in my team for 1 weekend. He scored so many goals when he was on loan. It was absolutely crazy. It was honestly just disgusting how good he was. I think he's got like 5-star weak foot. It's mad. He's absolutely mad. Honestly, I would love to have him in the team, but you know, we can't be dishing out those coins because we simply don't have the coins. So Martial, left-hand side, goes for the finesse, falls for, I think that's Rashford, who gets the goal to make it 2-2. You know, we're getting a little bit lucky with the rebounds, but I think because we are applying as much pressure as we are, then we're getting a lot of goals. And Gabriel Jesus opens up once again. We open up the defense, just making the clever runs. You put the centre mids or whatever on get forward, and they are going to make those clever runs and just get in behind at times. Especially if you're pressing LB, that's a tip which I would definitely say is if you do want a player, of course, to make a run. I'm sure a lot of you already know about this, but if you press LB, then a player ahead is going to just make a forward run. And even if, here's the thing, is that even if you're not going to pass to him, at the end of the day, the centre-back is usually going to go with him. He's going to track him. And it's what you see quite a lot in real life, is you see players making runs in order to sort of drag the defence out, to make more room and more space to get a goal, possibly, for the player on the ball who could just shoot or whatever. So, you know, it works both ways. It works both ways. But 6-4, Henry getting a banger there. A bit lucky, to be honest, but nonetheless, we're now 6 wins and 2 losses. You know, we've really turned this around, to be honest. And we're just looking to get the streaks in. The 4-3-3 was really working for me. I was very surprised of how well this system really was working. We're getting a lot of rebound goals, and I think that is ultimately because of the amount of pressure that we are applying. As you can see, Gabriel Jesus once more. This is actually kind of getting disgusting now, I'm not going to lie. We get the ball across, though. Willian tucking it away. And here's the thing, is that when you've got so much of a possession, you know, we've got the momentum on our side. Game after game, we're winning right now. It's just the confidence to get us all these goals. We're now 7 for 2. Decent teams. It's got that Ashley Young. I really do like that Ashley Young, actually. I think I've used the 83 Ashley Young. And in terms of, like, getting forward, in terms of an attacking left back, it's so sick. But as you can see here, we've just got a lot of sort of 1-2 LBA passes, and that's the thing. Oh, choke. First choke of the whole video. My. Rip City for me. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. When I seem to do the LBA passing, I just seem to play better. Simple as that. Whenever I'm just sort of getting the tiki-taka passes, quick passes together, mixed with not sprinting. You just have to remind yourself of these things sometimes. You know, don't sprint, because if you're sprinting too much, at the end of the day, you're dribbling, your control goes down majorly, your shooting is going to be a bit more delayed. Everything you do has that extra sort of response time, which is gonna impact the game quite a lot. And it's something that you can sort of mindlessly do. You know, you randomly do it without even realizing you're doing it at times. So it's just one of those things you have to realize. You have to consciously sort of use the logical side of your brain at times, consciously realize you're doing it, and then turn it around, of course. So we're getting the plays going here. Gabriel Jesus, he's looking for something. Picks out Ericsson. He was actually so sick for me, I'm not going to lie. Ericsson was coming up with some nice plays. Rashford just doing the smart play there, to be honest. He's just waiting for the player to go in on him. I think we get the penalty. I don't think we actually showed that goal, but I think we ended up scoring a penalty as well. Next team we come up against. This was a very interesting game. Very interesting. So obviously we've got the streak. He's got a major team. Problem is that we're in this room right now, which has got very bad connection. It's got like 41 millisecond. Well, I say bad. It's not really bad, but it's got like 41 millisecond ping. And then next to the router, I changed after this. It's like 12 milliseconds or something like that. So significant amount of delay in this room in comparison. But the thing, we just couldn't tackle this guy. I don't know what it was, but I just couldn't get close to him. I don't know whether it was his dribbling, the delay, or whatever. Like, that's another thing as well. I think they really need to address this issue. I've seen this on Twitter. Is that I basically just ended up quitting that game. But one thing they really need to address, and we lose the game straight after that as well, because the headspace goes, we quit again. One thing they need to address, it's the gameplay sort of, thinking of a word now, inconsistency. It's too inconsistent. Like, some games, the delay would be like nothing. We're currently 9 for 5. Shocking. It's gone down the pan. But the gameplay delay, it'll be nothing. If you go on late at night when there's like nobody playing, the gameplay will be, the delay will be nothing. And then other times, it's so delayed. And then literally, you get used to the delay. And then you play later at night. And then you're like, wow, how come I don't get this all the time? It's so stupid. For an esports game, it's not esports ready. It's quite simple. It's a pay-to-win game. And the term pay-to-win doesn't literally mean you pay money and you win. It means you have an advantage over other players. And that is just a fact. There's no doubt at all that there is a pay-to-win advantage. So, yeah, I think at this point we're going on a bit of a losing streak. We're trying to find something that works. We switch up to the 4-1-2-1-2. So we've gone... I think we've gone 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, and now 4-1-2-1-2. It's clueless stuff. I honestly don't know what we're doing, because at the end of the day, when I get salty, I just like to try stuff out. It's almost like, at this point, psychologically, you could say, I've almost given up to an extent. We're now 12 and 8. we decide next to go for a lazy vibe. We go for Olivier Giroud. And this is what I used to do on FIFA 17. I remember I did this on stream and it was so sick. Basically, what I did was I made a 5-3-2 team. And the three midfielders were all basically just defending. They were all sitting back. And then I would just have the right wing back, left wing back, get forward. And then the two strikers would be Llorente in form and Giroud in form. And they would just bang it. Literally so many goals. Just from crossing it in, hoping for the best. And it was so fun as well. It was just so different from the meta. And I kind of wish that headers do come back to an extent. I feel goalkeepers are just way too quick off their line when you cross it in. It feels like you just can't do anything. But we try it out. First game here, I think we're actually using the 5-2-1-2 or something. Giroud getting a goal, pretty banging shot. He gets a header here with Ronaldo. Ronaldo's just the best at everything. He's so overpowered. Like, maybe not overpowered. Maybe you could argue he's that good in real life. I don't know. He just seems to... It's just not fair. It's just not fair when someone has Ronaldo because he can do everything. Giroud equalizes, but we still lose because Ronaldo. Of course, it has to be Ronaldo that puts a nail in the coffin and finishes us off. So... we end up switching to the 4-4-2. So 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, 4-1-2-1-2, and now 4-4-2. It's all over the place. And I think this is just the standard 4-4-2. We're playing sort of very balanced. 12 and 10. That is shambolic. That is arguably the worst weekend league I think I've ever had. We then went for a different tactical together. We went for 4-4-2 with the CDM. So I was actually watching... I think it was on YouTube. Jose Mourinho's fast counter-attacks or whatever. It was like the fastest counter-attack in the world. And often you would see he would have like, on his counter-attacks, a system he would have with Real Madrid back in the day. He would have two strikers and then he would basically get it up to them quickly on the counter-attacks. They could do like 1-2s and feed off each other. And that's kind of what this is based around. 4-4-2. You got your block of four at the back. And often, it's something that you can't really do on the game is have two different formations, one for defensive phase and one for the attacking phase. And often in a defensive phase, you'll find that 4-4-2 is one of the most defensively solid formations because you got two backs of four basically, and then two on the counter attack with the strikers. And you see that with Leicester and stuff like that as well. I guess his tactic is kind of just Leicester's tactic, really, is that they just kind of rely on Jamie Vardy's pace on the counter and everyone else sits back. It doesn't exactly work all the time, but it can work to an extent. You can beat some players that have better teams and are better players. But I don't know, you have to be efficient. You have to be efficient with your attacks and you have to be patient in your defense and you have to keep your headspace. And all of that, when you've got a bad record, when you've got a good record, I think you can maintain that patience. When you've got a bad record... you're just thinking, I want to get that record back, and you're playing a bit more aggressive. I think the best formation, arguably, suited for trying to get a record back when you're like, I don't know, you're a bit salty, could arguably be the 4-1-2-1-2 because it is such an aggressive formation. But overall, I'd still say the 4-2-3-1 is the best formation. As you can see here, though, the whole squad's gone. The whole squad's gone. We've gone from switching formations to literally just switching a team. We're saying goodnight to every single player out there. It's Rip City. At the end of the day, like I say, it is the Salt coming out to play. No survivors. We're leaving none standing here. And I think we make, in the end, we actually do make like 100,000 coins. 84,000 as you can see there. But we do get a bit more after that as well. And then we have this idea. That I thought was going to be the master plan to an extent. And it was basically just testing out high pressure play. High pressure, five at the back, bully your opponent to an extent. Almost like how, what's his name, Pochettino does. He plays very sort of high pressure. Same with Liverpool as well. They do it quite well. But I think it was kind of like how you saw Pochettino against Arsenal. As much as it hurts for me to say it, they did... basically just out pressure us for like, especially in the second half we fell apart, but we basically just went for a whole team of just high stamina players to try and be aggressive. We had super aggressive custom tactics, super high pressure, playing a 5-2-1-2, And I just thought, we'll see how it works. You know, we switched in Van Damme. I think there was 2 players in there which weren't high stamina, which we just switched in and out. Just they're in there for chemistry reasons. But we go 1-0 down in this game, obviously, to a lad with, like, Gareth Bale. It was actually a pretty decent side, to be honest. Like, Moussa Dembele, we subbed on. He's got very good ball control. We get the equaliser here. Funes Mori getting an absolute banger. He was such a good player. And we get another goal here. Pretty much right at death. Funes Mori getting us a W there in our first game with a team. And I really did like the sort of tactic. I just don't think it's right for this game because I think aggression in this game... Oh, my second choke of the video right there. I need a drink and a tick, I tell you now. But basically, I mean, I've been talking for 20 minutes, but, you know, the aggressive plays just don't work. They used to work. I think they were more effective. They kind of nerfed aggression in general. Yeah, it's just a bit of a shame because the game is very fast-paced. It plays a certain way that only caters for certain formations and certain play styles. And I think the high-pressure 3 at the back / 5 at the back, unless you have... I can see it working with a sick team. With a sick team, Patrick Vieira, I could see him being a master in midfield. He just bullies. Every single time I come up against him, he bullies me. So him being in the midfield... Obviously, we're trying as hard as we can to get good stamina players. They haven't got good stats on top of it. We could have got a much better team than this, to be honest. But you think of someone like Vieira, he's probably got like 90 stamina. He's already got the same stamina, plus double the stats, double the pace, double the... You know, I could go on about the pay to win in this game for days. But nonetheless, 3 at the back here, we're switching up. We actually lose this game against a player that was pretty decent. We're 20 for 14. It's possible. It's still possible to get maybe gold 1. We end up selling this whole team because at the end of the day, we just thought, you know, stamina, it works to an extent, but it's not really... The team's not good enough, basically. We can't compete. We can't compete, and it's not working. So we switch up to a Premier League team. We basically buy a Premier League team. It's kind of a straight swap to an extent. We're trying the same tactics. My logic behind this team was just the same tactics... But instead of having super high stamina players, have players that are going to have decent stamina anyway, but decent as well. We lose. Like, what? It's going great, isn't it? 20 for 15. Shambolic. This is awful. I promise you I'm getting at least gold 1 next week, and I'm hoping for elite. In this game, it's 2-2. We go... I think we're actually 2-0 down at one point. We get up to 3-2 against this incredible team. Playing the 5 at the back, I believe this is still... and then we go 4-2 up. We choke that. Gets to 4-4. This is infuriating what you're about to see here. I couldn't do anything. It's so stupid, like so broken this. As soon as he does that run, I can't do anything. I can't control any of the players quick enough. Sergio Ramos scores the goal. It's a joke. So at this point, there's no such thing as gold 1. It simply does not exist. Best we can get is gold 2. So we just need to win 1 game. So I was just like, all right, let's stop messing about. You know, this has gone far enough type thing. Let's just get that last W. We'll finish up here. That'll be it. So we start off with the 5-2-2-1 with the wingers. I kind of think we're just kind of, I don't know, we were just not bothered at this point because that formation on paper I didn't really see as a good formation. We go 2-0 up. It's looking decent at this point. I mean, look at that. We're at 100 pressure. We're really pissing about this weekend, to be honest. 2-1, it gets 2. We basically just say enough is enough, you know, let's just get this W. Let's stop messing about. We switch up the tactics to something that you would expect from a proper FIFA play, you know, the proper Mbirchy, basically, to an extent. Actually, no, we go really low pressure, to be honest, but we're playing 4-3-3 with the CDMs. We do actually end up in the end switching to a 4-2-3-1. Best formation in the game, in my opinion. We're 3-1 up. In my opinion, I've said in my opinion twice in the space of 2 seconds. That's when, you know, I've been speaking 24 minutes. Yeah, commentary's going down here from here. I'll tell you now. So, 4-1. It's Rip City. We get the W. Decent plays. At the end of the day, like, towards the end, we were starting to get the sort of LBA passes going, which I would usually do. Because I've been doing it. I've been using the 4-2-3-1 a lot on Gfinity tournaments and played them reasonably well considering the teams that I came up against. I've been through like 4 rounds of Gfinity before. I even made it to the semi-final before. So I'm a decent player is what I'm saying when I want to be. But this weekend we just had a bit of a nightmare. Team wasn't good enough, but I think their headspace It kind of got to us. We played too many games on Friday, I think, as well. But nonetheless, that is going to be the end of this episode. Make sure to leave a like if you want to see more of this Road to Glory. We're going to be back for this upcoming weekend. We're going to at least get Gold 1. I can guarantee you that. I put pen on paper right there. I guarantee it. So, touch wood, of course. So that's going to be it. Subscribe if you're new around here. And I'll see you chaps and chappers on the next Mbirchy episode.